After 3 tremendously successful decades at the helm of Amazon, billionaire entrepreneur Jeff Bezos revealed sometime last year that he was stepping down as CEO. Andy Jassy, his replacement, is almost unknown outside of the tech industry. Should you be worried about this transition? Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. Before we go on with this video, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kindly click on the notification bell to get updates on our exciting content. This handover of power isn't your typical corporate reorganization. Since Jassy took over Bezos' $1.7 trillion behemoth late last year, he undoubtedly became one of the world's largest private employers, a business that is believed to be a colossus of commerce, Hollywood, retail, and the internet's very future. So join us today as we walk into the Chief Executive Officer's territory in our finest outfits and try to inquire who Andy Jassy is. Born on January 13, 1968, to a Hungarian Jewish family is Andrew R. Jassy. Jassy's father was a well-paid senior partner at the New York legal firm Dewey Ballantine. He grew up in Scarsdale, New York, a well-to-do commuting community. Jassy was always a bright kid who graduated with honors from Harvard College. He was rumored to have fantasized about becoming a sports commentator. Instead, Jassy went to work for the Danbury Mint after graduating from Harvard. This decidedly old-school firm specializes in tweak collectibles and disenchanted miniature cars. After 5 years, he returned to Harvard Business School to complete his MBA. Jassy started his second job at a little software startup named Amazon the very Monday after his final exam in 1997. It was in this same year he married Elena Kaplan. Starting his work life with a little software startup was challenging since he had no idea what his job would entail or his title. After all, the job offer was an online initiative. His concern was understandable since the dot-com boom was the era. Countless bright young guns like Jassy were chanting their arms in this burgeoning but unpredictably volatile industry. Nonetheless, Andy persuaded his new wife to move out west to Seattle to see how things worked out at his new company over a romantic lunch. Fortunately, he found himself in the desirable position of accompanying visionary creator Bezos at business meetings. Jassy effectively stood as Bezos' right-hand man a few years after Amazon survived the dot-com crisis, and it was in this position he attended the boss's estate on Lake Washington for a business jolly in 2003, which sealed his fate. At the Lake House conference, attendees were indignant even though Amazon had emerged victorious from the dot-com bust, finally posting an annual profit on revenues of more than $4 billion. The firm's increasingly diverse teams were dissatisfied with the fact that too much of their time and energy was spent setting up server capacity and other forms of virtual infrastructure. To successfully get their pet projects off the ground, they needed a more efficient method of internal scalable server management to help them. In addition, our man Jassy was one of the first to grasp that whatever innovative user-friendly solution they devised for Amazon itself could also be a profitable product for them to sell to other companies. What a prophet he was! Now, fast forward to the present day. Amazon Web Services, which Andy Jassy has been in charge of from the beginning, is responsible for building and renting out the motorways that carry an incredible amount of web traffic. Amazon Web Services, which account for 13% of total Amazon sales and a whopping 60% of total Amazon profits, now generates a cool $50 billion in revenue per year. A cloud computing platform owned by Amazon Web Services, AWS, is at work whenever you use Netflix, BBC iPlayer, post a review on Yelp, complete a project on Slack, or make a match on Tinder. It even serves as the foundation for the CIA's computer systems. Since the worldwide pandemic outbreak began approximately 2 years ago, AWS has grown even more powerful in its ability to provide the critical framework on which video chat giants such as Zoom rely. It will get better. Amazon Web Services even provided the critical computational horsepower that allowed biotech business Moderna to produce its COVID-19 vaccine at record speed thanks to the company's cloud computing infrastructure. Despite the fact that it is by no means the most well-known branch of Amazon's massive empire, the vast majority of people have never heard of it. Given his crucial role in enabling Amazon Web Services to dominate cloud computing, Andy Jassy was an obvious choice for Jeff Bezos to name as his successor. Why? As a result, cloud computing is only likely to become more important in the next years. Other tech behemoths are aware of this as well. After former CEO Steve Ballmer departed in 2014, Microsoft promoted Satya Nadella, a vice president in charge of its own Azure Cloud initiative, to the top role. Ballmer, a Microsoft icon, is said to have approached a specific Andy Jassy for the top job at Microsoft, but was respectfully turned down. So, what can we expect from Andy Jassy's presidency? As one of Amazon's most susceptible workers, Jassy eats, sleeps, and breathes the company's notoriously effervescent corporate culture. His speech is also supposed to be laced with aphorisms, taken straight from the company's mission statements. For example, he prefers collaborative teams with a strong backbone. That is to say, they oppose him. Be right a lot, he says, as his #1 leadership criterion immortalized in Amazon law. There is no compression method for experience, Jassy likes to say, which is a convoluted way of expressing that you have to work hard for a long time to reach the top. AWS did the same thing, at least in part. Amazon's strong position over relative latecomers to the cloud, Google and Microsoft, since it was there first. That's not to imply Andy Jassy's management style is just fluffy corporate fluff. He's known for being a nice, down-to-earth boss, but he's also a hard worker who expects consistent excellence from his employees. Meetings with Jassy take place in a conference room he affectionately referred to as the Chop, a play on the title of a French novel he read in college. Jassy is believed to use a Wheel of Fortune-style prop in the Chop to pick which whimpering underling he'll cook that day at random. If he likes what he hears, he'll end the Chop meeting with an endearingly folksy pump-up. Let's get this going. With Jassy ultimately taking over as CEO in the third quarter of 2021, he'll almost certainly continue his predecessor's merciless expansionist ambition, even if any given expansion doesn't feel like a natural match for Amazon. According to him, many corporations only explore businesses they are adjacent to or appear to be an extension of their current operations, which, by the way, is a perfectly sound plan. However, we continue to pursue the business even if it has little to do with Amazon's other companies. At least, that's what we did at AWS, developing an online bookshop into a super powerful web services behemoth. Whether he likes it or not, Andy Jassy has quickly established himself as a major political force. He's previously expressed his displeasure with ex-President Donald Trump's leadership style and has openly tweeted his staunch support for the Black Lives Matter movement, among other causes. Jassy will almost certainly face conservative backlash for his decision to deplatform right-wing social media platform Parler from Amazon Web Services during one of those shop meetings. Jassy enjoys his work as an Amazon mission evangelist. Check out his keynote talks from the annual AWS reInvent conference in Vegas for a taste, where he also got AWS into the Guinness Book of Records by hosting the world's largest chicken wing eating contest. Despite his great wealth, estimated at just under $500 million, and his vast resources at his disposal, he's expected to follow Jeff Bezos' lead and prioritize customer experience before stock market value. You can't feel 30% smarter when the stock is up 30%, because then you'll have to feel 30% dumber when the stock is down 30%, and that's usually not the case, he argues. And aside from that, this wholesome beef jerky-loving Dave Matthews Band enthusiast, who also has a stake in the Seattle Kraken hockey franchise, is sure to have plenty on his plate. Not least because a Democrat in the White House is certain to launch antitrust probes into Amazon's unrivaled ubiquity. The rise of quantum computing also brings with it its own set of opportunities and difficulties. Indeed, Amazon is already on the lookout for engineers to help with this once-in-a-generation paradigm change. But Jassy won't forget his roots at Amazon Web Services, and with 96% of the worldwide IT budget of $3.6 trillion still up for grabs by one or more cloud providers, there's plenty to be doing without this particular project. This aspiring sportscaster and former Danbury Mint executive has always believed in reinvention, and he understands that it is the only way for Amazon to stay on top. When you wait until you're on the point of bankruptcy to reinvent yourself, it's a wager that says whether or not you'll be successful. When you're healthy, you want to be reinventing yourself. You want to be constantly reinventing yourself, he said. So, what are your thoughts? Is Andy Jassy the right man for the job? Is his AWS experience sufficient to lead the world's largest store and a Hollywood studio? Please share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe for more high-level content. If you enjoyed this video, then go on and like it. Please kindly subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon for more updates.